Welcome back to Dark Points, everybody. This is Ron, and tonight I come to you with a new list of free-to-play demos that I tried in the demo section of the PlayStation Store, starting with A Plague Tale Innocence. This was recommended to me by Jake, who is currently playing A Plague Tale Requiem, and the Plague Tale Requiem is not available on PS4. It's only PS5, unfortunately. So he was like, maybe you should play the first game, because the second one is pretty cool. And what I know about these games is that they are very dark, gothic tales with a little boy who can control rats. But what you get in this demo isn't quite that. It's just the first opening chapter of the first game, and you've got to stealth around a bunch of soldiers and stuff, and that's about it. I like the look of everything, but this is what it is. I don't know why they chose this part of the story to get players to play the game, because right here, as soon as you get out of the castle, yeah, your demo ends, and then you get a trailer of the game. Here we go. Let's look at it. Oh, wow. Doesn't this look really cool? I would like to play this game. Why was that not in the demo? Look at all these visuals. Yeah, dark, gothic, interesting. Ooh, look at that. That's really cool. Yeah. Okay. So that's my complaint about the demo, but cool looking game. Alright, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I was shocked when I started playing this, and this was the look of the game. This animated, cartoony, almost stencil-drawn thing. And then, even more shocked when I started actually playing the game, and it was this. Okay. Well done. You're going back to the roots of Prince of Persia, and I appreciate it. I remember playing those games, but do I want to play those games now? I went through a decade of darkness with only Sega and Nintendo, all these side-scrolling games that were just like this. I don't need this stuff anymore. I've got crazy first-person shooter games where heads explode. This is really cool, like the time thing they do here with the levels to move forward, but you know, for me, it's just not my thing. I've been through this chapter of my life. I'm moving on, but good job, guys. All right. Speaking of good job, guys, Street Fighter 6. Wow, they really heard the criticisms about Street Fighter 5 and just went completely backwards into nostalgia and wonkiness and a real story and character building. Look at my character, peekaboo. So yeah, and they've taken elements from like Persona. You got a little cell phone with missions on it. You can go to the food truck and get food. Everything looks great. I don't know about the story itself, if I'm honest, or what happens. I presume there's some kind of overall linear story that happens. If it's all just open world and nothing else, then that would be lame. But it's really cool. You can just walk up to somebody on the street and be like, "Hey, do you want to fight?" And they'll be like, "Yeah." It's some weird alternate dimension where everybody wants to fight. And then you level up from that and go on and do all sorts of little different and interesting things. So, yeah, I get why people are loving this game. There's also the online modes where you can still face off with people, but yeah, good job, guys. Street Fighter 6, yay! Alright, Marvel Avengers demo. We're going from good to bad to good to bad again. Why do they make these games? And why do they make them like this? Why do they make these puzzly, weird games where you have 100 different controls? Like, these games are supposed to be for kids. I know my daughter is certainly 100% smarter than me already, and maybe that's the thing. Kids like more in-depth and intricate stuff. But this is just the demo, and there's no instruction. There's no text coming up to tell me what I need to do in order to solve this problem. And so I'm just stuck here, and I must have spent 20 minutes opening this weird map menu and looking at that A and pressing circle, and nothing ever happened except for me walking to the edge of, well, I swap characters from Black Widow here to the other guy, and then I fall into the ice, as you're about to see. Yeah, okay, I fall into the ice and I turn into an ice cube. Great job, guys.
Hello, Dan Smith here. I directed this film back in, well, it feels like a century ago. Yeah, that's what we did back then. Crash-landed ship. Out pops our hero, the fearless Dick Starspeed.
Alright, the Deadly Tower of Monsters. I let the intro play on that one just so you can get a vibe for what this is, because there's a director who's doing like modern day director's commentary over the DVD for this old school movie he did, and what a fantastic, weird, wonderful game I've never even heard of. This is right in my wheelhouse. I love this kind of stuff. I love how the dinosaurs look claymated just like the old 60s movies. This is a love letter to old school gaming that's done in an interesting way. Unlike Prince of Persia, this is something I will play for sure. It's $14.99 right now, the full version. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, but it's just cool and fun, and I'm sure it's going to get hard as nails. And it is basically like Zombies Ate My Neighbors or something like that, but it's enjoyable. Everything they throw at you, and just the sense of humor makes it worthwhile and pleasurable. So check it out. Alright, Dark Deception. This one looked really good. You go into this room and there's a vampire lady. Let's call her Boobarella. There she is. And she sends you through a door. And each door is like a horror story in its own. And at first I was really excited about this. And the trailer for it looks fantastic. But... welcome, Breakfast and Murder. Free every day until 10 p.m. Yeah, look at the environment and everything. It's really cool. But then you get into this first level, and what it is it's Pac-Man. And I was slowly realizing it as you're watching it here. I start collecting these crystals, and then I'm looking at my little map, and I'm like, huh, this looks familiar. What is this? So it's horror. It's a horror Pac-Man, a first-person horror Pac-Man, where eventually, yep, there's the ghost or Pac-Man or whatever. Maybe you're the ghost. I don't know. But yeah, you get followed down a hall, and you're supposed to collect all these crystals, as many as you can, before you get killed. And you're supposed to do it within 3 lives, but there is a checkpoint. Sorry, there's a checkpoint system, and every time you do that, it takes away points from you. Ah! But this is the first level, and that's all it was. And then you finally escape it, and it took me forever to do that. But I have no idea what the next level is, because the demo just ends there. Is it all the same? I don't know. If it is, I wouldn't play it. Alright, Grimoire. I don't know what the bottom word is. I'm not going to try to say it. This is from Vanillaware, the makers of Dragon's Crown and, oh god, Odin Sphere. And I loved those games. So I saw this demo sitting there and I was like, oh, wow, I gotta check this out. This is gonna be really cool. And it is nothing like those games. No golden axe here. This is some kind of weird strategy-based game where you command armies and sort of tower defense, and they build stuff and take energy, and you have to use these elves and these fairies to do different actions within each battle. But once I got through the tutorial and figured out that's what the game was, I was like, I do not want to play any more of this. This is not for me, this is not my thing. And, yeah, so there you go, Grimoire. Sorry, guys. Desperados 3. Now, I probably just posted a video about all the old, weird Supernatural West games, and this one feels a lot... It's like a perfect mix of Weird West and Hard West. It's that top-down thing, but it's not quite turn-based. It's stealthy, kind of like Weird West 2, but then it has these very RPG moments where you have to make certain actions happen, and that's where the game fell apart for me. As you can see, it says throw a coin at the horse, but then you go into showdown mode, and then you're throw a coin at the horse, and then it says continue, reset plan, execute plan, and then if you hit execute, you just walk up to the horse and everyone gets alerted and just shoots you dead. So again, the tutorial teaches you nothing. Yay! Alright, and speaking of teaching you nothing, the casebook of Arcaday Smith. Now, ooh, cyberpunk, just goodness here. Look at this thing. maybe not the best graphics in the world, but the environment is very pretty. And when you start this demo, you're in your apartment with no clues. And I had to play this demo basically 3 times before I figured out even how to get a case. But it's pretty cool once you get into that and once you figure it out. But again, there's no arrows saying like, hey, click on this thing to start the mission, or use this thing to figure out what your next mission is going to be. You're just walking around your apartment, then you get in this car that drives like crap, and then you can go anywhere, but if you're smart enough to click on your TV, it will tell you to go to the police station to get a mission. But the first 2 times I played it, I couldn't even figure that out. So it's almost one of those games, and so many of the games where it's like, you almost need to watch a walkthrough on how to play the game before you play it. So if you need a walkthrough to figure out how to play the game, then you need a tutorial. So, bad move, people. And also, it's, none of the characters talk. It's clearly European and strange. It's the least charming cyberpunk tale I've ever seen. No, I don't know. Just no. Alright, moving on to Daze, the demo, and this one was kind of the opposite, where, again, they don't really lead you by the hand, but it's a cyberpunky thing. There's no real tutorial, but it's enjoyable. Like, the fighting is basic. It kind of reminds me of Flashback and games like that. And then this part really reminds me of Sly Cooper, the Bentley cyber hacking missions. It's exactly the same thing. I don't know if they purposefully stole it, but it's almost identical. So the world is really interesting and pretty. I would say I like this more than Arcade Smith, or whatever it is. This is a little better. Alright, and the final game of the night, the Batman Telltale series. Anybody out there who knows the Telltale series, whether they've played this one or not, knows what to expect. It's kind of a playable movie with a few interactable parts. I used to be in love with these games. Wolf Among Us is one of the best games ever, but I've been so burnt out lately by these. And then it didn't help playing like, the Dark Pictures anthology and The Quarry and Until Dawn. I get to that point in them where it's like, yes, I press X and then I choose a dialogue option, but really, there's only 1 or 2 or 3 endings to the games. Maybe 6 at most, but it's just variations on a good or a bad ending. Who is left alive, who is not, but especially with these Telltale games, as cool as they are, you're really just kind of playing the movie, and your dialogue choices don't really matter that much, except for, like, a good or bad ending. But beautiful, and I love Batman. And I will honestly take any Batman game over no Batman game. So there you go. Yeah, that's all the demos I played for the winter of 2023 to 2024 in there. I hope you enjoyed that, and Dark Points, good night.